Hey there, folks in metal suits. I'm the Comics Kid 2099, and I'm here to discuss an episode of Superman the Animated Series. Today, I'm going to be talking about the episode Heavy Metal, so if you haven't seen it, go watch it, then come back and hear me talk about it. But while you watch the episode, I'm going to do a quick plot synopsis. John Henry Irons, who we just saw 2 episodes ago, is working on a metal exosuit similar to the one that we saw in his debut appearance in this series. He is nearby when members of Inner Gang are robbing a bank, and he finds out Metallo is helping them. Superman arrives to promptly get his butt kicked by Metallo, so Irons, now suited up and calling himself Steel, saves Superman, and Superman thanks him and says that he will be getting a lot more thanks from now on from other people. So I mentioned in my review of Prototype that it's weird that this series basically spends 2 episodes setting up Steel as a new ally to Superman, and then we don't see him anymore in this series. Sure, we see him some in Justice League Unlimited, but unfortunately never as a major player. After this episode, I would expect to at least see him play a small part in a few episodes, sort of like how Robin was in some episodes of Batman the Animated Series, but didn't play a central part. Sure, I complained about it whenever Robin was in an episode and could have easily been removed without it affecting the plot, but if you're going to spend 2 episodes setting up Steel, then use him. And you might say that Superman is so powerful that he doesn't need allies, and Steel would just be sitting on the side while Superman wiped the floor with the bad guys. I would argue that this entire series has been working to show that Superman is not all powerful, and you wouldn't have to knock Superman unconscious each episode in order for Steel to help Superman. We could have seen Steel fighting parademons in the invasion from Apokolips, or spoilers for the series finale, when Superman was brainwashed by Darkseid, we could have seen Steel helping Supergirl with the Superman robot they had. The only thing I can think of is that the people making the show had a lot of things to juggle going forward. They were introducing other DC Universe characters like Green Lantern and Aquaman, they were paying off subplots of Darkseid they had seeded earlier in this series, and they were introducing a new supporting character in the form of Supergirl. While I still think they could have used Steel more than what they did, when you look at everything that they did after this episode, it does make a little bit more sense that they kind of forgot about him after this one. But enough about what they didn't do with him, let's look at what they did do with him in this episode. Maybe it's because Superman spends most of the episode unconscious, and so our protagonist is a non-powered guy fleeing for his life in a busted-up van from a crazy cyborg, but the stakes feel a lot higher here than they normally do. Sure, we know Superman isn't going to come to any harm because this is his series, and even though this is only the second time that we've seen John Henry and the first time that we've seen Natasha, we're still sure that they won't come to harm either. This is a children's show on the Kids WB after all. They're not going to let even supporting characters come to harm. Unless their name is Dan Turpin. Sorry, that was uncalled for. But even though we know in our minds that these two are in no danger of dying, the danger still feels very real. The whole episode from the end of Act 1 to its conclusion feels a lot like the scenes in a slasher movie where the killer is chasing the helpless teenager who has to become the hero of the movie. No training, the villain is much more powerful, but still, our spur-of-the-moment protagonist must persevere. And when we see Steel persevere, the moment feels earned. If Superman had thrown the final punch that knocked out Metallo, I would have felt cheated. Sure, it's his series, but this is Steel's episode. Overall, I like this episode a lot. The only complaint I have is that it's not followed up with future appearances of Steel. But what did you guys think of this episode and of my review? Let me know in the comments, and I will see you guys in the future. Have a good one.